Speaking of NBA cities, we talked about Vegas and Seattle. I want to talk about kind of a smaller market in Minnesota because Julius Randle was just talking about how, it's very different from New York, obviously. That's where he came from. And all he knew about Minnesota was it was cold when they would visit, he said. But ever since getting there, everyone has made him feel welcome from the players to the coaches. And I think that is a testament to the difference between the small market city versus a big market and why some guys thrive in different markets than others do. I think a good example of this is Larry Markkinen. I don't see him as a big market guy, but over in Utah, he is absolutely thriving over there, and the city loves Larry Markkinen. And, from a team standpoint, it could make sense to move off of Markkinen and just go into a full rebuild, right? Because he's a very, very good first option. And maybe you're not going to win a championship with Larry as your first option, but he's a good first option to kind of keep you in the running and winning games and not getting top draft position. But the city loves him, and Larry seems to like it there. So I think he's a good example of kind of a smaller market and just being a perfect guy, a perfect fit for that team. He's just the city's rallied around him, and everybody in Utah loves Markkinen, and Markkinen seems to enjoy being there. And I think a guy that would serve well in a small market and kind of just being the guy is someone like Cam Thomas, because over in Brooklyn, that is a team that kind of wants to compete with New York in terms of, obviously, the roster they have constructed now isn't going to be competed with the Knicks, but in terms of, market share, the Brooklyn Nets kind of want to be a bigger team. They don't want to be perceived as little brother to the Knicks, and that's always going to be an uphill battle. But, that means that a guy like Cam Thomas, he's going to kind of have to step in line and not be able to do his own thing because the Nets kind of want to have a perception of being a lower-run franchise, just like the Knicks are. So for Cam Thomas, I think if he went to a team where he was just allowed to fully be free and put up all the shots he wants tonight, he would average a lot more. And obviously the efficiency, we can have arguments about that all day. But I think Cam Thomas would thrive in a small market where he's just there to get his shots up. But then again, the same thing happened for Jordan Poole, right? But I think we're seeing with Poole, he's more of a large market player because now he's over in Washington. And yes, obviously that's a very important place in our country. However, in terms of the sporting culture, that they aren't known for having the best sports teams. And that goes on to the Wizards as well. And Poole has just kind of struggled with efficiency. He doesn't really seem like he wants to be there. Poole is definitely a big market personality. He was a lot better with Golden State, and he enjoys the spotlight, right? And as a first option, yes, you get the spotlight in the small market, but at the same time, you don't get the spotlight as much as if you were in LA. So for Poole, he's more of a big market guy. And so I think there's just a big thing in terms of small market versus big market players, and how it's not always, he's going to want to go to New York or he's going to want to go to Chicago or LA, right? There's also players that fit better in a smaller market, and I think Lowry's a good example of that. And Julius Randle, that's the whole reason we're talking about this